This is Rich and Charlie again, and we're continuing with the Operation Legacy Coaching Series, and today we're talking about Step 2, which is your life timeline. Exercise 2 is within Step 2.
And one of the main points and the main theme about a timeline is really reflecting back from birth to present of significant events and significant people that impacted your life and helped you to become who you are today. And we're talking about significant events, not every single event. So we're going to show you an example in just a moment. Take a sheet of paper, and from 12 o'clock position to 6 o'clock position, you would jot a line, and then on the left side would be the positive events and positive people. On the right side would be the maybe not so necessarily negative, but the events that weren't as positive as the others. And I'll show you an example. This is an example of the timeline, and that is on page 42.
You know, Charlie, where we are today is actually a combination of all of our life experiences from birth until now. And we went through life experiences that shaped us, who we are. Some of them were positive, some of them were challenges, but nevertheless, they all had impact. I remember when I was growing up, when I was young, we made a significant move from the city to the suburbs. I even remember the first dog I had. I remember being in the Boy Scouts. I remember different activities I did when I was going to school. I remember challenges I had. I remember, friends that also went through divorces and through deaths and through different types of challenges. And all of these really culminate in who we are today.
One of the positive things and the reason why we want to go through this exercise is that, metaphorically speaking, we're looking in the rearview mirror, so to speak, because this is from birth to present right now. And when we look in the rearview mirror, there are several reasons for doing that. To learn from it, either to learn what to do or learn what not to do and repeat the same mistakes that we made early on. Hopefully we're getting a little bit older and a little bit wiser. But the other reason why we want to do this is that we take the positive events and the positive people, we take the characteristics of those events and people and how and why it impacted our life. Because what we'll do is we will carry forward into the future some of the significant lessons learned from that. And that is, I'll tell you, when you go through this exercise, you can go as deep as you want to go. When we do this in a classroom, it really starts unfolding a lot of harbored feelings and emotions that people have had. As in this transition process that you're going through, as an example, some military people from the Vietnam War have been carrying memories, and even if they're repressed, they've been carrying these for 45 years or so, 40, 45, 50 years. And I'll tell you, it's I worked with a couple of veterans in the San Fernando Valley where I live, and they were carrying a lot of baggage. And so
it's interesting, Charlie, not only the combat veterans and so forth, but just transitioning from the military culture to the civilian culture is very drastically and dramatically different. Go from a highly structured environment to a very unstructured environment where you're responsible for everything that you have to do in your life. So we really have, the importance of where we've been to where we are today, which you documented in your coat of arms in Exercise 1. But like Charlie said, as you're going through transition, there's some things that we're going to let go of. From stage 1, we're going into the transitional period, and then we're moving into a third stage, which is creating a new vision and a new future. So we want to take the good, productive things with us from the past. We want to appreciate even the challenges and appreciate where we've been. But there's a turning point where we're going to be letting go of some of the things that bag us down, some of the old baggage, some of the strongholds, and some of the bad habits, and we're going to replace that with a new vision, with new habits, and a new future plan.
Exactly. So thank you, Rich. And on page 44 is a blank page for you to use You can do it in this manual because this is your really your life's manual, or you can do it in a larger piece of paper, a butcher-sized paper, board and easel type. And how to apply this exercise, as Rich just mentioned, is to take what you can moving forward. You know, metaphorically speaking, you bring all the tools to the table. Your skills, talents, abilities, experience, education, whether it's formal or informal, and you set it down on the table and you start aligning yourself and arming yourself and filling your toolbox full of tools that you can move forward. On page 45, a lot of journaling. When you go to this exercise, the timeline, it's going to bring back some memories, and some will be positive, some will be not so much. But any notes that you want to take down in the journaling pages, it's really important. One of the other things that is important about journaling is you're expressing on paper what you have in your mind. And that in and of itself is a form of therapy for you. When you express it and you read it and you think about it, again, in summary, from my point of view with this exercise, when you look in the rearview mirror, it's okay to visit it, but don't live there. Do not live there. I know a lot of Vietnam veterans, when I see them, they're still dressed the same way they were in the 60s, and it's not a judgment call. I'm just saying they have not moved forward. So it's up to you to really design your future state a lot different than it was in the past. Just a little heads up.
Yeah, and we know that there's millions of 20-somethings and 30-somethings that have been in the current conflicts for the past 10, 15 years since World Trade Center, 2001. This book is designed for every veteran and every active duty and soon to be released active duty. This is how to align yourself for the future. So again, in closing, get in a comfortable place. Relax. Get a beverage, a cup of coffee, sit down, take your time going through this. And if you're wondering, I'm not sure how the coat of arms and the timeline actually has anything to do with a life plan or where I'm going in the future, we would ask you to trust the process now. This is a process that's going to build on itself through the 20 exercises, and as you go through it, the light bulbs will start coming on. So as you trust the process, step out in faith. The principles and the history that's gone in this material is proven. It's a combination of corporate training development, personal development, and therapeutic approaches, and family counseling approaches. So all these three have been combined together to make a really effective, proven workbook that will not let you down.